Sandra here from Createinspain, and today I'm doing another video on using up my leftovers. Now I'd cut out this die just to see if it would do it, and it's foam and it's cut it out very well. I will leave a link down below if you want the die, but I didn't have anything in particular in mind for it. So I've taken one of my circle dies and I've cut out a stitched circle. And I'm going to put my glue around the outside of this because it's going to be the easier way of doing it. I'm going to make a shaker from this, or at least what looks something like a shaker. Maybe without the shaker bits, because, yeah, do I really need shaker in that? No, just line that up. All right, I think that's lined up pretty well. I'm going to dab a little bit of glue on the back of the tree here. Just make sure that it stays flat. There we go. And I've done the same with a piece of acetate, done the stitched circle, and that will go over the top. Now I'm thinking that because this is actually white, by the time I've put the glue on there and it dries, hopefully it won't be noticeable. But if it is, what am I going to do about it? Well, if it's noticeable, then I will be putting this behind an open window rather than putting it on the front of the card, which is what I would quite like to do with it. I don't think I'm going to put anything in there as a shaker, because it's just going to get caught on everything that's in there. I have here a piece of photo card that I printed on, and I wasn't really sure what to do with this. I was just playing in Procreate and I made the actual design, but I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. It's okay as a card front, but not overly exciting. So I decided to try and use this up in part of my leftover challenge. So I've got a piece of white card here, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's been ruined because it looks like it's been stuck on the mat too well. And I think this is probably a piece of card that I put down on my mat when it was brand new, and it's just kind of wrecked that side of it. This isn't going to matter because that is not really going to show. So I'm going to put this so that it is more or less in the center. It's slightly to one side. And I'm going to mark it so that I can fold that edge. So I'll just get my ruler up to that edge and then do a score line. And I can do a fold. Then I can do the same thing from this side. There we are. And put glue on here to glue my background in place. Make sure to line it up with the base really well. I can measure this one and trim that off 3 centimeters. So I can just mark that one at 3 and trim the excess. Taking off the excess, and so now I have the back of my card all sorted, and I just need to sort out the front. Now for the front, I'm going to use a piece of acetate again. Now obviously I need this to be folded in the same place. So all I'm going to do is to put it down on there. If you're doing this with the leftovers, do make sure that your leftover pieces are properly shaped, you know, that they are properly rectangular or properly square, whatever. Do make sure of that, because if you don't, it's not going to work properly. and you can trim off to about 1 centimetre. This doesn't have to be absolutely and totally precise. There we go. It's the fold that is important in that particular case. So this is going to go on there like that, but obviously it's not going to be put on just plain. I have a sentiment that I want to use on it. I've got this one cut out already. I may as well use it rather than do that than have it wasted. I've just realised that pretty though this die cut is, it's going to be a bit problematic to stick it onto the acetate and make sure it stays there unless I do it with double-sided tape. So I put some double-sided tape down onto some vinyl backing, and I have the original die used. I'm going to run that through my Gemini. So here's my die cut, and I'm going to take out the excess pieces, and now I'm going to lift off the backing paper. So I'm hoping that if I press this onto here, voila! Oh, it works. So this is now the sticky version, and all I have to do is to place that over the top. Well, that worked just fine. I was able to get the die cut lined up perfectly with the sticky tape die cut. That was quite an achievement because it is fairly intricate. And if I'd have had any sense, I would have cut it out with sticky tape on the back of it to start with. But I wasn't thinking of that when I cut it, and I was just testing it out. And I really didn't want to waste that die cut. But it's now stuck on there really happily. And all I have to do is to put this onto the front. Now make sure that when you do this that you've got it up the right way, because you don't want to put it on upside down. That would be horrible. At the bottom on that card. And the front edge. There we are, we have it. So it will fold flat. So now we have a different way of using some leftovers. I couldn't put this directly on the design because it obscured most of it, but floating in front, that's a different matter altogether. I can now put this on the front of a card because the glue isn't showing through at all, and that means I don't have to put it behind a window. I can put it directly on a card front. For the card base for this one, I have gone for a patterned paper, which I have mounted onto a card and then mounted it onto another scrap of card because the paper itself I think needed just a little bit more bulk to it. I've got another piece of card here which is, this is 12 by 12. This is 12 by 13, so I have folded over the lip of the extra length. Now the way I did that was simply to put the two together and then fold that over, so I know that I have it the right size. I can then put that flat and either use glue or double-sided tape. I'm just going to glue it in this particular instance. Don't go too mad with the glue. And just line that up. And that will actually save me cutting yet another piece of expensive card for a card base. So if you've got any smaller pieces, you can sometimes utilize them like that. So I have my full size card, and now I can put this piece on the top. And I'm going to put that more or less in the center of my card. So that looks quite pretty, and I just need to add a sentiment and then the card is ready to go. So here's the two finished cards. I've added the sentiment in the same shade of blue as the background paper, and that's just stamped on a strip of card and applied. And with this one I've added a few little sparkly bits on the front, but both basically made out of things that I had left over from other projects. If you can do this before you throw things out because you've got too much stash and you just get fed up with it, you'll save yourself money in the long run, either by making more Christmas cards or by making birthday cards or whatever for the coming year. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.